All right. What's going on, everyone? Saturday, that means it's time for our check-in, check-in with Brandon for Deeper State Keto. So I'm going to get him on here, and we're going to get after it, get talking, chat a little bit. Hey, Helen, thanks for joining. Gildrup, there's Brandon. All right. SP Russell, thanks for joining. Israel Chosen One, what's going on? There he is.
Hey,
Hey, man. Good to
what's
see
up,
you.
man? Yeah, good to see you. I like that shirt.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm my inspiration's Evan Centopani. He's the guy we would all want to be like.
Yeah, he's a beast for sure, man.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see I'm following his YouTube series Back to Build or so, I think that's what it's called. And where he built the home gym and everything, and he's supposed to be competing at the NY Pro back I think it's been moved to August. So
Okay.
so he's it was originally supposed to be in I think June, but they obviously moved it back. So he said he's him and Hunter Labrada are both competing against each other, and so it'll be interesting to see him. I think Evan's been out of competing for like years because he had a bunch of injuries. So
Yeah, that's right.
he's been out for a while.
Well, that's kind of good timing for him to have made a home gym, or did he do it since the virus came out?
No, it was literally like a month before the virus came. He was like, you know what, I want to build my own gym again because that's how he started. You know, he's working out at home and everything. And he was just like,
Hmm.
just tired of the gym atmosphere. So I want to get back to like my roots of having a home gym and being in the basement and doing my own thing. So he like, it was just coincidence that it all came, came crumbling down with the virus. So
It's kind of a good little sense about him there.
yeah, see, I actually got rid of most of my equipment because I wasn't really using it a whole lot because I was going to the
Hmm.
gym. I was going to Planet Fitness. So I'm like kicking myself now because I don't have anything and I've been just, doing the bands and push-ups and calisthenics,
Hmm.
um but still, I mean, it's pretty nice just having everything so basic. Like I know why that's your preferred option because it's so easy just to start. It doesn't require a whole lot of setup or anything, and then you can just jump right into it.
Yeah, as long as you embrace the pain, so to say, like that you really push yourself. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of thinking. Like you can really just zone in to uh to just repping it, or like yeah, like Seth Feroce says, just let it rip and pump
Mm-hmm.
them out and
Yeah.
push yourself as hard as possible. But it's basic movements, and you're pushing yourself to the limit, and then limiting your rest time. And it keeps it so easy. You're able to space out and kind of I don't know, get that. I mean, that real, for me, it's like really a therapy feeling,
Mm-hmm.
to not have to stress about, okay, now I need to, bump it up by, 2.5 or 5 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to shoot for this rep range and all of that.
Yeah, it's just pure. Who was the guy? What was the guy's name that you said got you into that when you were younger? What was his name? It was a football player who said he built his body just with push-ups and everything.
Oh, I was Herschel Walker.
Yeah. See, I've heard him like on Joe Rogan's podcast. He talks about him too.
Oh, I haven't heard that one. I'll have to watch that one.
Because Joe Rogan's big on calisthenics. Like he's like that's all you need. He's
Oh,
like
is he really?
yeah, he's like pull-ups. He's been talking about recently with the home gym stuff. He's like all I'm using is like a kettlebell, and that's his
Hmm.
bread and butter is calisthenics and the kettlebells. So yeah, he mentioned that's somebody else that inspired him to like just stay put with. He's done like lifting and stuff, but he's like I just prefer that just because that's pretty much all your body really needs, just your own body weight to work against it.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of wonder how this is going to affect gym memberships and everything nationwide after so many people, for the first time, experience working out at home, not having to drive to the gym, seeing that they can actually get good results and push themselves. And I don't know, it's just so much more convenient. It's not this big, huge portion of your day. You know,
Mhm.
you have your section of your 30 to 45 minute workout, and you go into the other room, and then you're back with the fam. So
Yeah, I've really enjoyed the simplicity of it all. And it's nice to have all the different machines and stuff you can fool around with at the gym. But I've really liked how simple and effective your workouts can be by just keeping rest time really short and crushing a 30 or 40-minute workout and
mhm.
being home and being able to go right back inside if you're doing it outside and just get ready for work and do whatever you need to do. It's been really nice to not have that stress of driving to and from the gym and all that stuff. I mean, it really does waste like half an hour when you break everything down. You're wasting 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, hmm
But I
yeah.
mean, yeah, talk about a little bit about your experience, like, because when we were police officers, you had the gym there that you used and stuff like that,
hmm
a little bit here and there. But even then, I remember you telling me it's like, man, it just takes so long to like go over there. If I want to lift some weights, it's there, but it's like, is it really worth it? I know I can get a much better workout just at home with the intensity. You don't have anybody bothering you like you do at the gym. It's like just
hmm
those little things that can really mess you up.
Yeah, it was funny because even though I had the police department gym, I would really only use it when it worked out that I wasn't able to get it in while I was at home. I had to go into my shift, something else took priority or something. And so, or if at that particular season of my life it became most convenient to just squeeze in my workout immediately after my shift before I went home. But a lot of times, it's still there was that added variable in there of if I got a late call, if something crazy happened at the end of my shift, and then I was stuck doing paperwork for hours. And but what was funny is a lot of times I just went in the gym because that at the PD because that time was convenient. The space was convenient to me. I didn't have to drive to it, and I still ended up just going over in the corner and doing a
Yeah,
bunch of push-ups or doing dips or
yeah.
doing pull-ups like I would have just at home because I wanted to just zone out and just push my body to the max, just exhaust myself and get just a good quality solid workout, but not have to think about everything and set up the bar with the plates and all this stuff. But when I would go in there and be like, all right, 30, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, I'm going to do as many push-ups as I can do every single set. I'm going to rest a minute in between each set, and in 35, 40 minutes, I should have 300 to 400 push-ups, quality push-ups knocked out and be dead. And
Hmm.
there'd be a puddle of sweat on the floor and I would be sore for days.
Yeah,
And I just keep, for me, I just wouldn't get the same if I did weights, and it would take so much longer because of all the setup and the proper warm up and the proper build up, and then you need a spotter and all
yeah.
that stuff.
All that stuff that the guys who are, also concerned about building a lot of muscle and I believe, but weight training in that sense, if that's you have enough time in your life to devote 2 to 3 hours of your day to go to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
do what you need to do, and you got a huge following, that's your job, then that works out. But for a lot of people, you don't really get a great workout when you go to a gym and you're surrounded by people. Number one, you're concerned about what other people are thinking, like
Mm-hmm.
there's a nervousness about the whole thing. And then number two, if you get intense, you're worried about people are gonna think that you're a douchebag because you're getting intense and you're trying to get your workout in before work because you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
squeeze it in. So all these different things I found, it's like when you're just home, no, you don't have to worry about anything. It's like you're zoned in. If you need to yell from a few sets because it's really painful, that you don't have to worry
Mm-hmm.
about anything other than you might wake the kids up or something.
Yep.
But other
Yep.
than that, I mean, you don't really have anything to worry about in that situation. So it's been really nice to get back to just the roots of what you've talked about and just home gym stuff. I mean, it's just so easy and And
it's got a little Rocky Balboa feeling to it too.
yeah,
You know.
exactly. And you can put on your like music on your phone, and you can have it playing out loud, and you don't have to worry about like just anybody being annoyed at your music.
Hmm.
Because a lot of times it's in the morning, so that your family's not even up anyways. So it's just a nice way to get really zoned in on yourself and really push yourself and not have any distractions. And the only distraction I found is like just everybody's problem with being on your phone too much. Just like you're in the middle of a set and you check Instagram or something. But for the most part, I mean, it's really easy to just be like, all right, I'm going to set my timer on my phone for 45 minutes, and I'm just going to get after it and just do as much as I can.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I used this week. I just used the perfect push up, the twisting handles
Oh yeah.
for
That
chest day.
throws that throws a little interesting angle to the old push up.
Yeah, because it's just so nice. You can really squeeze your chest a lot more at the top of the movement when you twist
Hmm.
your hands, and it's such a small change, but it really my chest is still sore today, and I did it Tuesday or Wednesday. So
Hmm.
I mean,
Yep.
people talk about how chest isn't. I mean, push-ups aren't the best like option if you have a barbell or stuff like that. But I've felt like elevating your legs and doing different widths of your position with your hands. It's just as good. I mean,
Yeah.
you get just as good of a workout. It's just because you're not pushing for those extra 5 to 10 reps. When you get to the end, you just want to stop.
Yeah. That's what it really all comes down to. That's why people talk about being able to get an effective workout no matter how much weight you have, whether you've got baby weights, Yeah, I mean, there's one guy, Vince Del Monte, where his whole thing is getting big on baby weights. Essentially, like all you need is like, uh, a pair of 15s, 20s, and 25-pound dumbbells, and you can get an effective workout no matter what body parts you're working, and it's all in how you do it and pushing yourself to complete exhaustion and pushing past failure using intensity techniques and resisted rest between sets. And really, if you're looking at hypertrophy, developing your muscle, growing your muscle, it's not all about progression overload strictly with weights. And really, it's all about, and this has come out a whole lot more recently with different studies and everything, that it's all about time under tension
Mm-hmm.
and stressing and pumping the muscle, and keeping that the amount of time under tension during the exercise, and not all about making sure that you're bumping up the weights. That's why these guys in prison can just rep out push-ups and pull-ups like crazy and develop incredible physiques, because it's all
Mm-hmm.
behind the intensity and the consistency.
Well, I think
And
for a lot of people too, they've really come to the conclusion that calisthenics aren't super easy. Like I've heard from my friends, I've heard from, on YouTube, everybody's like, I'm not good at calisthenics. I'm not good at body weight movements. I'm just so used to using a bar and laying down on a bench or sitting and all these different things that you should be good at. The basis of all exercise is using your body to do pull-ups and push-ups and
mm-hmm.
dips, these things that are all um, compound movements that use all different kinds of muscles.
Yep.
That should be your basis, and you should be great at all those before you even jump into weightlifting. Most people don't.
Yeah. Yeah, and that too, like I did research on like reading different articles and stuff as far as when I was a police officer, what were the most effective exercises for like grappling, or if you got into a fight, with a suspect, and these athletes that perform in like MMA and everything like that, a lot of them were crediting body weight exercises like push-ups, dips, and variations of pull-ups as being the most effective exercises you could do, because just like in the octagon, when they're fighting, they're using and having to maneuver their own body weight. Well, when you
Mm-hmm.
do body weight exercises, you are learning and developing coordination and skill and endurance and strength with the same body that
Yeah.
you would use in a fight. and you're not on your back. In a fight, you don't ever want to be on your back. But they're doing push-ups, you're pushing back up off the ground. Doing dips, you're pushing yourself up. Doing pull-ups, it'd be like if you had to climb over something or throw somebody to the ground. Like, it all translates
To real life.
to, yeah, to real life athletic movements.
Yeah.
And that's why it's just like, that's why when people tell me, like, even if they don't want to invest in bands, I'm like, you don't need bands. You don't even need a pull-up bar. Like, if you're willing to do push-ups and walking lunges and body weight squats and run outside.
Yeah.
And really, you don't even need to run outside. If you do it at a high enough tempo with high enough reps and do it intense enough, all you need is the push-ups and walking lunges. And that's it. You can get shredded on those two movements alone.
Yeah. It's just because it's not the most interesting thing. Like, people just, push-ups, that's it. Like, I'll get really bored with that. Like, I need variety, and I'm the same kind of way. Like, I like to keep things different and stuff like that. But I mean, when it gets down to it, that's really, honestly, it's all you need is those key factors. And like you said, the pull-up bar, I mean, you don't necessarily need that, but I mean, heck, you could put a $20 pull-up bar in a door frame, get it from Walmart, and have the ability to do hanging leg raises for your abs for that, and pull-ups and chin-ups. And that right there, I mean, there's so many different things you can do as well with, like, pull-ups, push-ups. You can do like circuit style training. That keeps the calorie burn. You don't even have to, if you don't like running, you could just have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and do push-ups, pull-ups, and sit-ups, and do that for, 10 rounds. I'm going to see how many I can do. And kind of like what you've been doing with like 15, 20-minute workouts. Like, you want to explain a little bit about that before we get into DSK and what's been going on?
Yeah. So I've been reading different things about daily workouts and doing full body daily workouts, shorter time frame, not as long in duration, but still like intense effort, and then doing those workouts more frequently. And it was all brought about because my schedule kind of demanded a certain change to where I wasn't going to have as long to do these longer workouts, where I was getting close to, between 45 minutes and an hour, nothing crazy. But I needed to shorten it up. So I was like, well, if I shorten it up because of the time demands every day, I just need to make sure I do it more frequently. And then when I compared the volume of what I was doing, I was actually going to be doing more volume, getting more time under tension, getting more of the blood pumping through the muscle, doing it with shorter workouts, but performed more frequently. So I started putting it into action, and over the course of the last, and I've been, being pretty strict with my diet, pretty much doing meat and eggs and keto bricks every day, pretty much, fasting through breakfast, and doing this 30-minute routine every morning of pull-up variations supersetted with dips, all to failure. And then I'll go out and I'll do a couple hundred walking lunges, and I do it all in about 30 minutes every single day. And I mean, I have noticed a significant difference, and I've lost about 9 pounds in the course of a couple weeks, and I'm not suffering hardly at all, and I'm only doing 30-minute workouts each day with strictly body weight, and my joints feel great. I don't have any tweaks or injuries or anything like that.
Are you sore? Are you like, you're doing it every day, you said? Do you have any soreness in your chest, or is all that kind of subsided?
Initially there was some soreness, and that you're going to have to fight through, but your body adjusts in, like, I'd say usually about 4 to 5 days. So there's going to be a couple days there where you're really not going to feel like doing it.
Yeah.
Especially with the walking lunges, because those are going to hurt you. But walking lunges, and inspired by Corey Gregory, they really expose weak areas in your back, and where they say, like, if you start practicing walking lunges and you notice that your butt is really sore,
Yeah.
afterwards, that is an indication that your lower back was weak and you had nothing. So if you were dealing with lower back pain, one of the things you can do to address it is to start practicing walking lunges, because it's going to build up those support muscles that are weak, which is causing undue stress on your lower back, which
Oh,
is
okay.
just amazing.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
a super athletic movement too.
yeah. I've just tried it a few times, and you think it's going to be pretty easy,
Mm-hmm.
and pretty soon, if you do it for a straight 1 to 2 minutes, you start to realize that it's going to be really, really, really painful.
Yeah.
And the way your legs burn, and just overall how out of breath you get, it's like you perform like, a set of squats, and within, at a set for a set of 10, but with lunges, I mean, within the first minute, you're breathing so heavy due to just the amount of exhaustion and the
Mm-hmm.
burn that you feel in your legs. It's pretty incredible that, Corey Greger, he was able to work up to doing a mile
Oh,
walk.
I know.
I mean, that just blows my, I can't even, I
And that
could,
was after a full blown weighted leg workout that he was
yeah,
doing. Like, that's pure
yeah,
insanity. I mean, I'm not doing that. I'm doing a couple hundred lunges every day, and
yeah,
that is intense.
yeah.
Let alone he's doing that in addition to an entire insane workout.
Yeah, I think it's just a build up, and you have to just get better at them. And I was taken down a few notches with how developed I thought I was, and then I tried it, and I was like, man, if I want to do this, I'm gonna have to like really do it like at least 3 times a week to get better at it.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, just like you said, it exposes a lot of your weak areas, like that you think you're stronger in, and the way that you have to balance. And if not to mention, if you're doing it outside and there's varying degrees of elevation and the road how it is, I found outside when I was doing it, I was like, I'm feeling different parts of my leg because the way the road, starts to move, higher, and the incline and everything. So it's a really cool way, free. It doesn't cost anything. You're using your
Yeah.
body
Mm-hmm.
and you're doing it. And I think that's really cool that you're getting better at it. And
Oh yeah.
it goes to show you don't need as much stuff as you think you do.
Like, I'm really and I like how Chris Bell talks about this. Um, and if anybody wants to follow him on Instagram, it's at Big Strong Fast. He had done the Bigger, Stronger, Faster documentary, and anybody can watch on Netflix. But I really liked hearing him start to talk about, trying to make things as simple as possible.
Yeah.
So and then I've been really embracing that, like, because when you get down to it, simplicity and the basics performed with intensity and consistency. That's like where the magic is.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, you see all those YouTube videos of all these big guys, and they always love to go back to the basics, to
Yeah.
what they started with, back old school, quality over quantity, get rid of the fanciness, do the basic hardcore stuff and do it with intensity. And that is the easiest to follow. And that's even when you're talking about diet.
Yeah.
Like people get overwhelmed by diet. Um, cut out all the noise and go basic with
Mm-hmm.
it. Stop trying to do all of these complex dishes and recipes and casseroles and all this stuff, like all these
Yeah.
food. I need it. I I mean, there's a learning curve for everybody to learn keto,
Yeah.
but when people say I don't know what to eat on keto, it just blows me away. I'm like, you haven't really tried to look in. You haven't done any research, because keto is like the holy grail of diets.
Yeah.
Like, just keep it simple. Like, if you want a pound of bacon, then you can have
Yeah.
if it fits into your day's requirements, a pound of bacon is fine. It's protein and fat.
Right. And get into this too. We can get into DSK, and I've just realized like how simple the everything is, and the results that I'm seeing is
Mm-hmm.
just crazy. I mean,
Yep.
it's like every single day I see progress, And it's because I'm keeping everything so minimal and basic and keeping the carbs so low. It's like, and it's so funny too, because you get to the end of the day and like I've noticed this so much getting home. Normally, if I wasn't doing keto, my energy would be low and I would be like trying to, I wouldn't be as engaged with Grace and Jenny Beth. And I'd just kind of be like, I got to get, showered and then I got to eat because I'm feeling like so low. Well, last night, after working 5 days in a row, I get home at like 7, and from 7 to 8:30, didn't even eat, just had family time and wasn't even hungry. Wasn't even that hungry, and was able to do like full bedtime routine, did the whole thing. And then after she was put down at like 8:45, I got, which another thing, like going back to simplicity, got 2 burger patties, put it in the air fryer, cooked up 4 pieces of bacon, and that was that. Put some miracle noodles together, which took no time at all either. And I was looking at it, I was like, I know this is gonna fill me up, but I don't know. It doesn't look like that much. And by the last bite, it was like such to the degree that it was so enough to satiate everything that I wanted. And then the Keto Brick to end it off is just like the best case, the best situation to have after a meal. Like I get to look forward to that at night.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not a cheat. You're not cheating on anything.
I'm telling you, and the way that my weight has dropped over this last week. Like my lowest weigh-in was 217, which was that total 5 pounds is what we said, right?
Yeah. So, just over 5 pounds. Yeah.
Over 5 pounds. And I tell you, I feel a little bit hungry through the day, but for the most part, I mean, it's just like I know the same breakfast I'm having after I work out is like 5 eggs. And I usually, that's all I have because it's so quick, and usually I don't have a ton of time left to cook anything else. And that keeps me full till like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And the nutrients are getting in the eggs, and I mean, and then the snacks that I pack myself for, lunch, I can continue working and eat that. And it's like, it doesn't take any time at all to pack. And like you said, I mean, what I've really seen is just the basic things that you would think that make up keto. That's really what you need to stick to get results that you want to see.
Yeah, it really just comes down to how bad you want it. And, like if you want it bad enough, you got to realize you're going to have to say no to some things. And remember why, you committed to this or even want to do it in the first place, and realize that in order to have what you want most, you can't have what you want in the moment. And at a certain point, you just can't get past that. Like that's a requirement. But the beauty of DSK is that there is so much detail and there is so much structure that it inevitably forces you to go simple in order to make your life easier.
Yeah.
Because you can't do all these casseroles and fancy things with DS. I mean, you can, but your whole life will literally be weighing and measuring and numbers and all this stuff. So then you end up where you're like, well, forget it. I'm hungry. It's going to taste good. I'll just measure out, a pound of ground beef, or I'm going to have, 8 eggs. Sorry about that. I had a call jump in right there.
Oh, you're good, man. No worries.
But yeah, you end up going that basic and simple route out of just necessity to make your life a little bit easier, which ends up being the best overall for you anyway.
Yeah, I started to see that really quick, like the first couple weeks. I was very surprised how quickly the carbs added up. And I never been that strict with carbs before. I just started to see that, like, if I was going to make this work, you really have to keep the ingredients, everything, the base. You're going back to the basics of keto. So you're going back to your oils, your coconut oil, butter, all these things that have a great amount of fat in them and nothing else. And I realized too that if you have that amount of protein in the morning, like if you have 4 or 5 eggs, you really can't overdo any more protein till dinner, because you're just gonna go right through your macros for your protein.
Hmm.
So you have to keep things very simple and controlled in your afternoon as well, to where you're basically you're looking for stuff that's a lot higher in fat than any kind of protein. And
Yeah.
there's been a few days I've seen my protein. At the end of the day, I'm like, I only have like 25 grams of protein left, and that doesn't leave a lot of options for a dinner. It's like, 3 ounces of steak or something, and that's really small. And but to be honest, I mean, even if I did have that, I didn't feel that hungry for dinner anyways. So it's like, well,
Hmm.
I mean, that's for a lot of people. I know myself, I like a big dinner because it's something to look forward to while I'm working. But it's interesting that your body is gets so accustomed to those macros that you don't feel like you need anything huge at the end of the day. If you do, get close to your max macros for the day that you're supposed to be following.
Well, that's you end up becoming very aware of your tendency to overeat.
Yeah,
You end up realizing you're like, I'm fine.
I
I
don't.
feel like I should be hungry and I should need more, but I'm fine.
Yeah,
And so that is a really good thing for people to end up being able to grasp. Now, I will say, like I have, when you have been sending me your macro pie chart every day, like I'm always shocked at how spot on you are. Like you've really streamlined things, and it sounds like it's just because you've really grasped to the concept of life is easy when you go basic and you go simple.
yeah, and right off the bat too, like I know that if I keep things like that, the results are just gonna keep coming.
Hmm.
And I think people tend to forget, like, if you get really strict and your workouts are on point and everything, those results that you see should push you to keep going. And
Yeah.
when people start slipping up and they're getting doubts about whether they should continue and don't know if this is worth it and everything, it just means that they haven't been seeing the results because they haven't been as dedicated as they should be
Yeah.
through the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah. It's gonna, I mean, people talk about, and I think it can get confused that keto is just easy.
Yeah,
Now, I mean, it's definitely not hard, but no matter what diet you follow, you're gonna have to say no to yourself to some extent.
yeah,
So the things you got to focus on, like sometimes people will complain to me, but I really like this type of food and it's technically keto friendly, but but it's something that I advise them that they need to remove from their diet temporarily to move past a weight loss stall that they're in, like removing dairy or removing nuts or removing veggies.
hmm,
And a lot of times that's the technique, or we have to implement intermittent fasting, and you need to, which is so much easier on keto, but it's not easy. It's
yeah,
just easier to do on keto because you're more able to um, be able to endure through the fasting because the hunger is different on keto because you're so much more efficient at burning fat and it's an automatic appetite suppressant. So things just are so much easier, but don't get that confused with that it's easy.
yeah,
Focus on the fact that you're still eating foods that taste good. You're still looking forward to your meals. You're looking forward to half a keto brick or however much keto brick you're having after your meal for like a dessert. And then you're going to bed full. And whenever I tried any other diet beforehand, I was always hungry and I'd go to bed hungry and I was miserable.
yeah,
And no matter what the protocol is, and even going as super strict and effective as deeper state keto, like you're not miserable right now. You're actually, reporting that you're feeling amazing and
hmm,
you're full of energy and you're going to bed on a full stomach and you are dropping weight every day.
yeah. It's exciting too, because waking up in the morning and jumping on the scale, knowing that you tracked everything perfectly the day before, you know that your body is gonna show that, gonna change.
Mm-hmm.
and being able to look in the mirror and see, the different changes already. And we're not even in, I mean, this is the beginning phases. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I haven't had to try that hard. It's been very, very easy. And the macro counting and, getting used to the foods, that was a learning curve for the first week. But now I feel like, now it's all a matter of cutting calories and cutting the macros and seeing, like we talked about, the protein threshold. And I'm telling you, man, like, I don't even need an alarm clock
Mm-hmm.
anymore.
Yeah.
Like, my body wants to get up at 5. Like, I got up this morning. My body woke up at 4, but I went back to bed because I was like, I need to sleep more. Like, this is ridiculous. I don't need to get up right now. So I slept till like 5:30, and even during that time, it was more resting because I was
Yeah.
still like, I felt like I was still up. That's
Yeah.
one thing I never had before, was this waking up on the dot. It's like your body gets so in a groove of, this is when I go to bed and this is when I wake up.
Yeah.
And like, I don't struggle at all going to sleep. I fall asleep on the dot like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Sometimes if I've had too much caffeine through the day, I feel like I can't go to sleep as early, but I still, once I do finally shut down and say, okay, I need to go to bed, I go to sleep right away. I don't struggle going to sleep. And then my night sleep, I don't wake up at all. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I have a solid night of sleep every night, with very, very minimal. If I do get up, it's once in a blue moon, like during the night. I mean, it's hardly at all. And then, like that, I get up so easily. Even Jenny Beth has said, like, you're, I just can't believe you get up that early and you don't struggle at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just pop out of bed and I'm like, nope, I can't go back to sleep. I got to go. It's like somebody
Yep.
just cracking a whip and saying you got to get up.
Yep. Yeah, and that's something totally unique to keto,
Yeah.
and just being in that, just at least for me, and obviously for you, it's been only through keto that that's happened. I mean today is a Saturday, and I'm sleeping 5 hours a night right now.
Yeah.
During the week, going to bed at like 10:30, getting up at like 3:45, so right around 5 hours. Last night I went to bed at 11:30. We stayed up a little bit later watching a movie, and then 4:30 a.m. I'm up doing client work. And
Not struggling at all, though. It's not like,
no.
fog. You wake up and you're like, all right, I'm going to get some coffee. And when I
Hmm.
have that coffee, that's going to get me right where I need to be. And that'll kind of prime me for the morning.
Yeah, yeah. What is it? It's like it's almost noon right now here in Arkansas, and I haven't had any caffeine since like the wee hours of the morning, and I'll probably still start feeling like I want my afternoon coffee here in about an hour, but I'm not dying. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not nodding off or anything, and I still haven't eaten anything. I'm completely fasted. Um, and yeah, I'm hungry, but it's a different hunger, like we talked about. And
Yeah.
it's almost like yeah, I'm a little hungry, but I'm okay. And
It's not this overwhelming sensation of, I need to eat something.
no,
Like, I need to sit down because I'm so, out of energy and feeling like
hmm
I'm foggy and I can't perform. Like, that's something that's cool too, is like how well you can perform on no food. Like, you
yeah,
just perform better as a person, like in your work, in your
hmm
relationship, in life. I feel like I have so much more energy to devote to Jenny Beth and Grace. And when I was off keto, I didn't have that stuff. Now, being off keto was easier for, in a sense, because you're having, your wife, whatever she makes for you, and or
hmm
if you make some for yourself. I mean, it's just, that aspect of it's easier. But and another aspect, when you're making your keto foods that are, like we were talking about, simple, it doesn't really require much effort at all. I mean, it's, you're cooking something on the skillet for a couple minutes and you're ready to go. So
Oh
uh,
yeah, that's why I like the two things for me is like for ease and simplicity. Like people talk about meal prep. Meal prep's not going to happen for me. Like
Hmm.
I'm not gonna do the Tupperware and everything, and like it's just not gonna happen with 5 kids and
No.
a crazy schedule. I'm not carrying around a big huge cooler with a bunch of Tupperware with measured out portions of food. Now, what I will do is I'll take advantage of a product like the Keto Brick
Yep.
and have half of one of those for lunch, which is perfect. And then when I get home, the Jackie and the kids, they have their dinner planned, and I'll just go in and scramble up a bunch of eggs, or we will have like the extent that we will do meal prep is like cooking up like 5 pounds of ground beef,
Hmm.
and then I'll go in, I'll measure that out on the scale, how much I need for my day's goals, and compared to what I've already eaten, and I'm already planning on having half a keto brick before bed, and it's just perfect. And I know it's easy tracking, but I'm on top of the macros, and it's not hard, and you're full, and you're satiated, and you're full of energy. And yes, you have to say no to yourself a little bit, but what you are able to experience and enjoy while also getting amazing results, that's what you have to focus on. And okay, yeah, I can't sit down and have, a ton of heavy whipping cream, to no end, and have cheese on everything galore. Like for me, dairy does not do the best for me.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's almost like now, after I experienced going without dairy, um, it's not really worth it for me to have it anymore. So I just opt not to.
Yeah, and that's a personal preference type thing, and you don't have to go as strict as that. But one thing that keto really does for you is you really get in tune with what kind of foods, how they impact your body.
Yep.
Uh, there was a day there last week where I don't know, I had like 3 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream in my morning coffee, and I had afternoon coffee with heavy whipping cream,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like 2 tablespoons, and I noticed I was a lot more bloated and it wasn't as tight.
Mm-hmm.
And that just in and of itself, I was like, dang, like normally you wouldn't really think that would do anything. But
Yeah.
seeing that kind of how much dairy I had and that correlation to how my body responded, I've kept the heavy whipping cream very minimal now. Like I only have a couple tablespoons in my coffee in the morning, and that's pretty much it. And the cheese too, like I keep that very simple as well and minimal because
Yeah.
those things, I feel like me and you have very similar ways that our body responds. That just does not, it doesn't do a whole lot. I mean, the fat is good and it tastes good, but it's just the way our body responds. It's not really optimal for a good, to keep seeing results if that's where your goals are at.
Well, yeah, for a lot of people, it can just be inflammatory,
Yeah, that's what
and
it is.
it's like it's the same thing too with veggies. Like I'm not demonizing veggies by any means, but people, it is a little bit of what you would call a clue when people with autoimmune diseases are put on diets that have no vegetables and see significant improvements.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's one of the main things they use to treat autoimmune diseases. So, and then if you really start to go and dive down that rabbit hole there, the stuff that's coming out about eliminating, you know, veggies from your diet, that there is a lot of amazing things to be said about it. But at the same time, like maybe your body responds great to veggies. You crave veggies.
Mm-hmm.
And so nobody's demonizing it, but it is a process of learning about yourself, about your body, and about how to get the optimal results and perform optimally. And that's one thing I really found with DSK, and I can see like you're even finding it with yourself, and like even with all of your experience and knowledge up to date, it's like you're learning new things about yourself and your body through this process
Yeah.
of following the strategy and following it down to the specific details, and you're reaping the rewards of that.
Yeah, it gets me so fired up for what's to come because I know that as we continue forward, it's gonna be harder and little tweaks here and there that'll ramp up the intensity with the nutrition and working out, tightening down even further. But I tell you, like last night I came home and Jenny Beth had gotten pizza. She got takeout pizza, and I wasn't even like it didn't even faze me. It was like I saw it and I was like, oh, that looks good. But then I thought about like how great I'm feeling, how I'm just performing so well, how I feel like mentally just feel so much better. And take away physically like the outward and how my clothes are fitting. It's just mentally I feel so much more there and so
Mm-hmm.
much more motivated and it's just like it's like you're not even phased by that food once you're really dialed in.
Yeah.
Um, and some of it could be like I'm motivated more because I want to transform better and everything. But at the end of the day, though, I think it's just it just goes to show the diet how DSK makes you feel and perform. You don't want to trade that for any of those foods that in the moment would be kind of tasty. Like I feel like right now, if I had 3 or 4 pizzas or 3 or 4 pieces of pizza, I feel like I would be taking so many steps back from
Yep.
where I was. I was like, it's not worth it in the least.
Yep.
Cheat
Yep.
because I'm operating so much better now, and my body is in such a zone in ketosis with being so strict for the last. It's coming up on 30 days. It's like it doesn't even tempt you in the least. It's so
Yeah, and
crazy.
it's like, and you've built momentum. You've
Yeah.
built. You can see and you can tell that you've built momentum, and that snowball effect
Mm-hmm.
is taking place, and so then when you think about that and how far you've come and the progress that you've made, that cheat is just laughable. It's just not worth it, and
Yeah.
but so many people don't even wait that long. Like they fall off so soon before they're able. That's why, we always tell people like 30 days. Give it 30
Mm-hmm.
days without a cheat, no alcohol. I don't care if it's the alcohol, I don't care if it's the low
Vodka
carb.
and all.
Oh yeah. No alcohol. It all metabolizes as sugar in your bloodstream.
Yeah.
So keep out the cheats, keep out the alcohol, go 30 days straight, and you will see, you will know, that the benefits and the rewards.
That's why I say too, like, gosh, I mean, for all the bad that's happening in the world and how this social distancing and quarantine stuff, man, like just dive into a diet, a cut of some kind. And keto, obviously, we love that. But if you could just, this is the time to really test yourself and get committed because you don't have any social things that are keeping you from breaking up the success of a diet for you. So
Yep.
this is the time to be as strict as possible. And you need, like,
Mm-hmm.
that if that can get you through this time where you're having to not be out and going out to different gatherings and you have to stay home, I mean just see what you can do with your body and the progress you can make by being on top of your diet and your training. And
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like there's been a few people that a few of my friends that are like, I just can't, the home workouts are just, they're boring. I'm like, I don't get it. Like I don't get how it could be so hard. Like I can't
It's
put
for
a
a
lot
purpose.
in. Yeah. I don't know. Like do you find that too? A lot of people complain about the home workouts and how they just can't get in the zone. They can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I hear that, my thought process is your gym workouts probably weren't that intense anyway.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not committed to the point of,
Do you
um,
answer that real quick?
yeah, I just saw it on the DSK. Do you guys stay away from nut butters? Is the question from Diesel 28. Well, thanks for tuning in. And on DSK, if it fits your macronutrient percentages that you have set for the day, like on the DSK protocol, the goal is to have not more than 10 total carbs each day. Um, the bad thing with nut butters is those total carbs can add up. So while you can fit it in, you're gonna have to take it out, or take something else out, or really limit the food for the rest of the day. in order to make those macros work. So if that's worth it for you, then go ahead and have it, as long as you're hitting, your correct fat grams, your correct protein grams that translate over to the percentages that are determined to be best for you as an individual, and don't cross the total carb barrier. And then at a certain point in the process, following the deeper state keto protocol, if you hit a stall or you hit something, like a weight loss plateau or a stall or something like that, then it might be a good idea to remove all nuts and nut butters, because they can cause people to stall out, and or can. Sorry, my phone just cut off there for a second. You
Oh,
there, Adam?
yeah, I'm there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
But you may have to cut it out at a certain point temporarily in order to push past a weight loss stall and to continue seeing results. And that's the same with dairy, and that's the same with veggies. Those are like three of the variables that, if you hit a weight loss stall, you can play with removing them from your diet. And most of the time, for most people, making that adjustment will get the ball rolling again and keep it rolling until the next time. But weight loss stalls and all of that are totally normal. When your body gets to a certain point, it's going to continue to resist change, and you've got to do something a little bit different to apply additional pressure to force that change to continue.
Yeah, I've cut out, I mean, pretty much all different nuts and nut butters just because I'm like, they can't really, they don't fit in my day. I mean, if I want to be
Mm-hmm.
satiated through the day and be able to perform like I want to at work, I can't be, I need to have different things that, there's so many other foods I need rather than just a nut butter at the end of the night,
Mm-hmm.
like that. Now, every now and again, like the other night, I had like maybe half a tablespoon just because I wanted to taste some nut butter for the, because I hadn't had it in a while. But I feel like the carb count in those, it just adds up so quick. It's like you really got to plan for it if you want it.
Yeah, and that's why I'll end up like, because I love nut butters. I love peanut butter. I love almond butter.
Yeah.
But the thing that I do that takes that fix for me is I have either the peanut butter keto brick
Mm-hmm.
or the new toasted almond coconut keto brick. And for an entire 1,000 calorie bar, the total carbs in the peanut butter brick is 12 for 1,000 calories and 14 for the toasted almond coconut. And so, um, if you are getting all of your carbs from the keto brick, which vary from 12 total carbs to 16 total carbs, if that is your entire carbs for the day, then on DSK it's okay to go over that 10 if all of your carbs are coming from the keto brick, which would be a maximum of 16 at the mocha cream flavor if you went with that. That is the one exception that we make on the deeper state keto protocol, and that's because of the extremely high quality of the keto brick product and the quality of the breaking down the quality of the ingredients and everything, and the source of those minimal carbohydrates, that it doesn't hamper your progress to have it to that extent during the DSK protocol.
Yeah. Yeah, I've just found that having the keto brick has been so nice and essential to keeping everything on track and how it makes me feel in the morning. I feel like I'm not overwhelmingly hungry or anything. I feel like it has, like you said, it's fuel for your performance, and that's what it's made for, is for performance. And I just feel
Mm-hmm.
like at the end of the night, it's not like having a halo top, that feeling, that bloating or anything. It's just, you could tell it's the highest quality of fats that you're giving your body. And two, like they're so filling. I mean, you can have 1/4 of a brick and you just feel like, oh man, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't have any other
Yep.
craving. I feel like I've hit my max and everything is great for me to go to bed.
Yeah, yeah, it's a shelf stable fat bomb. It's
It really is. Yeah, and I've been I think my favorite is the peanut butter for sure. Just because I feel like that has the most the consistency of it is such like a chocolate bar. It's so
hmm
smooth. It's like a fudge. But uh, but yeah, before I forget, I would like to talk about the upcoming week, like what I
Yeah,
expect with my macros and all that dropping and whatnot.
yeah. So last week you were at 2,489 calories, 216 grams of fat, 126 grams of protein, and then the consistent goal of 10 total carbs. Now, we're still in phase one, so um, we are still working through phase one of determining your individual protein threshold, which changes for every, it's different for every individual. So while we are gradually lowering the calories every week, we are lowering the fat percentage like very slightly each week and upping the protein. And we're going to do that until we notice some type of adverse effect, like a weight loss stall, or you're not feeling the best, or something like that. And that will be an
Yeah.
indication that we've reached that threshold. So let's back it off a little bit and determine where we're going to set it at for your optimal progress. So we're in that process right now. So um, 216 grams of fat, 126 protein, 10 carbs, 2489 calories. That was last week. So this week it's going to drop from 2489 calories to 2433. So not drastic at all. Your fat is going to decrease from 216 grams of fat down to 208, and your protein is going to increase from 126 grams to 129 grams. And that's gonna be it. And I fully expect to keep seeing you making this consistent progress with these ever so subtle changes that aren't drastic. It doesn't have to always be extreme.
hmm
And that the magic is in the numbers and the percentages of the protocol, and they're clearly working for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see what the upcoming week holds, and I wanted to ask you while we're talking about the calories. Now, there's been a few days where I've been over my calorie count, but my macros have been on point. What are your guys' guidelines on that? Are you more concerned about that?
So no, I'm not as concerned about it because with the macro calculators, there can be times of fluctuations depending on the entry, and all food labels aren't the same and aren't entered the same in the different food app calculators.
We got
So
155 minutes remaining, just under 2 minutes
okay,
before this
all right.
shuts down. So
Um, so yeah, I'm more focused on the macros, the grams of carbs, the grams of fat, and the grams of protein. Because if you hit those, you know what the calories truly are, and you know what the percentages truly are. The apps sometimes calculate wrong, depending on the source that it's getting the label data from.
okay.
So focus on the macros, by the grams, and then you can know you're on point for everything else.
Awesome. Well, it's good to know because that was a question I was having through the week, and I kept
Mm,
forgetting to ask you if that was because I figured that wouldn't be the macros were the main point we were trying to follow, and the calories kind
yeah,
of fall into place after that. But um,
yeah.
so yeah, it's good to catch up and get ready for this upcoming week. And I
Mm-hmm.
look forward to staying in touch with you and keeping everybody engaged with the process and everything because I think it's really exciting to see because that was how it was for me when I saw you going through DSK. I was like, man, if I
Mm-hmm.
went through it, I feel like I would get really even better results than I would have just doing it myself. And so
Yeah.
can't wait to show people what truly is, what's possible with DSK, just like you did, and we'll continue to do that and show everybody that it's the peak thing. If you're following keto, you should be using it if you want to see insane results.